Hey everybody, this is Dan for GemmyD on Cars. I'm finally back. This is the first car that I've driven since the whole coronavirus shut down. The last car that I drove was in March. That was the Shelby Mustang GT350, but today this car is just a little bit different. Now this is a brand new Tesla Model Y. Now this is going to be the car that everybody is going to buy. You know, we've had the S, the 3, the X, now this is the Y, and this is the sort of mainstream SUV that everybody's going to buy. So we're going to go through all the features and everything. We're going to take it out on the road, and then we're going to try the autopilot. So here we go. Alright, so I'm here with my buddy Jason. Now he and I 2 years ago we drove, so this is the wife's car, the Model Y, but the husband Mike, he got the Model 3 and he and I drove down to Chambersburg like 2 years ago I think. So I figured I'd bring him back to do the Y. So we're going to talk about the looks of this car, which is just, it's interesting and unique. I mean, what do you think about the looks?
Yeah, definitely you could tell it's kind of based on the 3 platform. Great looking car. The roof does slope a lot more in the back, which is interesting. I know a lot of car manufacturers do that, but overall it's decent, I'd say. Definitely looks better in person than in pictures.
Yes, for sure, which you could say that about any car. Like, you know, the BMW 4 Series that just came out with the huge like teeth. I'm sure it'll look a lot better in person, but overall it just looks like maybe like a 2/3 size like Model X, or you could say like a Model 3 just sort of lifted up a little bit. I mean, this car is the exact same platform as the Model 3. Okay, so just a couple basic stats about this car now. This Tesla, I don't think really does any more like the numbers like the P85 or P100. It's really, there's just a long range model and a performance model, and this one is the long range model. So it has a range of about 315 miles. Now this car will still go 0 to 60 in like 4.8 seconds, which we know that electric cars are fast as hell, but the performance version of this car will go 0 to 60 in like 3.5. So we're definitely going to stomp it and see how it feels, and it's going to be super fast. I didn't really get a chance to really get on it on my drive over here. But yeah, 315 miles of range, which is more than enough, and we know that Tesla has the best, you know, infrastructure for charging stations. You know, the apps that the guy that I drove his Tesla Model S that he showed me is just unbelievable. You know, it shows where they are. You know, it'll say like, oh, on Bay 2 there is a gray Model Y. It's like so detailed, and it's really the best, you know, infrastructure of any electric cars around. I know Porsche is not anywhere near that, but they only have, you know, they're sort of new to the electric car game. But Tesla has really cornered the market on the infrastructure for these electric cars, and that is really, that's what some people don't buy electric cars because of the infrastructure. Like my buddy Will was saying, he considered like an Audi e-tron, but you're like, how do you know? You just don't know how the infrastructure is for the cars. So right. I don't know.
Yeah, Tesla's way ahead of the game with that, and really they focus around the owner experience too at the supercharger stations. I mean, have a nice little lounge sometimes, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, and the other thing, I was talking to the one guy, the dad of the owner of this car. He said that Tesla does not do advertisements. I mean, they don't advertise, which you think of how many hundreds of millions of dollars that Tesla saves by, you've never seen an ad. You know, it's all by word of mouth, and they're so popular. It's just amazing that there's really not many dealers around, but they don't need that many, because if you want one, you go put $1,000 down and you buy one. I mean, it's just the Model 3 had the really long waits. That was like, some people waited like 2 years for it. But I think it was probably similar for this, even though with the coronavirus shutdown too, you know. The owners here, they just got an email like last week, and they said, hey, your car's here, come get it. And what do you know? They got it. So, all right, let's take a look at the styling. All right, so let's just look at the styling, and like I said before, it's really, you could look at it two ways. You could look at it as a taller Model 3, or just sort of a shrunken down a little bit Model X. Now, these, the wheels that come with the performance model, I'm not that crazy about them. They are huge. They're like 21 inches, but these are 19s. And you can actually, I'm not going to do it, but you can actually take the hubcap off, and below it is a normal, you know, aluminum wheel. But the one thing that I noticed about Model Y is that everything is sort of blacked out compared to the Model 3. Now, when we drove a black Model 3, and that had all the chrome around, but I love just the blacked out. There's the cameras there and around the doors and the door handles. Yeah, these door handles are pretty cool too. But yeah, that's just, it looks, the gray looks really good with the blacked out badges. I think there's not many badges on the outside, but people have talked about, you know, fit and finish of these cars, and when we looked over the 3, we didn't see any really issues, and I think this car is similar. I really like the red color. The red color would look good with like the black trim going around. Now another cool thing about this car is that this is, I think, one of only 2 in central Pennsylvania right now. The owners of this car, they said they bought this in Pittsburgh, and they're in the Facebook Tesla group, and there's let's say a couple dozen or so running around Pittsburgh. You know, it's a big major city, but this might be only one of 2 cars in central Pennsylvania right now in June, which is kind of cool. Like when I was driving over here to where I got the car, there was one guy who, like, his jaw dropped, and he was like, you know, I just was waiting to see if people would, you know, look at me as if I was in a rare car, which I really was. So the other cool thing about Teslas is all the cameras that are around. Now, you know, they have the Sentry mode, but there's the camera on the side. There's one right there. And I think there's the cameras up there on the middle of the screen there for the autopilot, which I tried out on the way home. But yeah, the front end looks almost exactly like the 3, just a little bit raised up a little bit. And yeah, like Jason said, it's a good looking car, I think. It's just the back where it slopes down a little bit can get sort of interesting. But yeah, in the back it's just as similar. You know, there's the charging port right there. So it comes with the charging ports. You got the cables in the car. You can switch them out. There's a 110 volt and a 220 volt. So yeah, so overall I think this is really going to be the Tesla to buy, because, you know, everybody wants SUVs. You know, we're sort of going away from sedans, but it's kind of funny that Tesla came out with the sedans and the bigger SUV, but now this is finally going to be the one that everybody's going to buy. I guarantee you this will be the best seller, you know, within 6 months or a year, or maybe even sooner. So, all right, let's take a look at the inside. Okay, to get into the Tesla, you know, you have the normal app on your phone. You know, everybody has their phone in their pocket, but if you give it to a friend like I am, you have this sort of card. It's kind of like the American Express black card that says Tesla. So you walk up to the car. Hopefully this works. I think if you just hold it there, then you open up the door handle, which the door handle is kind of cool. It's kind of like a Lamborghini Huracan handle. Alright, so we're on the inside. Now this car is identical to the 3. Now this, I don't remember off the top of my head, but this is a 15-inch screen. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's kind of cool. Nice. What other car can you do that in? But yeah, this is the main screen. There's obviously no screen in front of you, just the road ahead. Now the vents are still right here. I can feel the air coming out this one, and then there's another one right here, which I think if you had the defrost on, this would shoot the air up. So this is the main vent, and you can control them on this screen, and all you have to do is really just take your finger and direct where you want the air to go, which is pretty cool, even on both sides. I think you can do dual or off. One cool feature with this car is called dog mode. Let's say you had to go, let's say you went to Al's of Hampton and you went to get a 6-pack of beer. You can leave your dog in the car and you hit dog mode. I'm not going to hit it because it just went on full steam air, but literally something will come up on the screen and say, my dog is fine, the temperature inside is like 78 degrees. So it's just, Tesla does lots of little things that you wouldn't normally think about for cars. Just cool little features like that. Now, this screen controls everything: lights, locks, display, driving, everything. I mean, obviously this is the only screen in the car that controls everything, and when you're driving, your miles per hour is up here. You can open the front trunks there. It's just, everything is displayed right there, and I like it. I like the minimalist design. I just think it works. You know, every car that Jason and I have ever been in have like buttons down here and buttons up here, and, you know, obviously conventional speedometer and tachometers up here, but I like it. I mean, do you like it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of these car manufacturers, they really haven't hit it out of the ballpark with infotainment systems, it seems like. And Tesla, I mean, you know, with, I think, their background with SpaceX and stuff, and working with, you know, the technology interfaces and stuff, I think it really helps. I mean, you can really tell. Yeah,
I mean, Elon Musk is, you know, he is where he is for a reason. He's just so smart and cutting edge. I mean, can you just imagine if you're a billionaire and you have, let's say, a competitor to NASA, and you think, hey, I want to build a car. I mean, it's just impressive. I mean, the guy's funny on Twitter. You know, we all love watching it. He's a visionary, I'll say. He's like a real life Tony Stark. But this car is so different than any other car. I mean, all the cars of Tesla are just so different than anything else on the road, and they're just it's impressive. I mean, what more can you say? So let's see. There's a couple cool little features too. So there's a bunch of stuff. There's energy that talks about, you know, what your consumption has been over the past so long. Energy charging web. Now Toy Box has some things where you can draw. That's what I just drew my GemmyD. But you can do Rainbow Road. Now when we try out the autopilot, I'm gonna try that. It's like Mario Kart. But yeah, the Mars. Yeah, it'll show your car on the map like you're driving on Mars. But it's just, I mean, these random things that no other car has.
Yeah, you really don't see that in any other car manufacturers. I mean, they always think one step ahead.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I mean, that electric Ford that just came out, the Mach-E Mustang, so heavily designed based off of this car and the 3. And it's just, I don't know if that's like what people think an electric car should look like, because that's what Teslas look like, but same with the screen. It just has a huge screen. So yeah, this thing you flip open, that's like, I could fit up to my elbow down there.
Yeah.
There's your wireless charging pad right here, and these, I think these are cool. They just stick with a magnet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice and clean.
I mean, this thing would definitely show fingerprints, but I don't. You know, what are you gonna do? There's 2 cup holders. Now, the panoramic roof, it's a fixed roof, and as the sun is beating down on it right now, it looks like it's tinted, obviously, but it doesn't matter. You know, you're not gonna feel like you have the sun blasting in your face. So yeah, it's just something like all other cars have a crossbar going across. Like my wife's Audi, just no other car other than Tesla has the huge
you don't really
roof.
see that anywhere else. Yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine what it costs to replace. But
good point.
So yeah, this is the interior of the Tesla. I think it's pretty impressive. Now the door handle is kind of cool. It's just like a manual switch right there, and I think you can press this button here to pop it open. Let's see. Yeah, that's like electric. I think if the car would be dead, you can use that latch right there. All right, let's check out the back seat. 2 things real quick that we wanted to mention. Now, this car is probably, I think, the only car that does like over-the-air upgrades or updates. And I remember reading an article of Car and Driver that said they did a 60 to 0 braking test, and let's say it was 119 feet. They did an over-the-air update, and they tried it again, and the car braked better. I mean, that is just the most like technologically advanced thing you could ever imagine of a car, you know, here in 2020. Just over-the-air update from Tesla, I think, in California to make the car perform better. I mean, you know, we all know that the Tesla Roadster's coming out, you know, in the next couple of years, and that's going to be probably the fastest thing that has ever launched ever. So that's just going to be crazy. But another thing that Jason mentioned that I saw in another video, there's a mode called Joe mode, where I think if you have your kids in the back and they're sleeping, you can hit a button that would turn off like the noises or like the clicks or something, because a guy named Joe said something to Elon on Twitter, and so it's now called Joe mode. I mean, it's just like he's like a troll, but it's just funny that he named it after the guy that, you know, said, hey, put this feature on the car.
Joe's gonna get credit forever now for that Joe mode.
Whoever this Joe is. So all right, let's check out the back seat. All right, so going into the back seat of the Y. Now I have the seat where I was driving, and there's pretty much room. And I remember us sitting in the back of the 3, and there's definitely more room.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, I don't think this is
seat
leather.
Is up a little bit,
I think they call it like some sort of vegan like material. But yeah, I mean, Jason and I are both like 6 feet tall, and we got plenty of room. I think I had the seat up a little bit further. I mean, my knee's on it, but I think I would say it's comfortable.
Yeah,
I mean, there you can really see how big the screen is. But, you know, people are going to buy this car that have kids. I mean, or else you'd probably buy the 3. But I think this would definitely suffice.
Get a little kid in the middle here.
Yeah. Now, the back, we're going to go look at the trunk. Now, that is where the biggest reason that this car is going to sell more than the Model 3. So let's check out the trunk. All right, now to open up the trunk, right here on the main screen, you hit the open button, and that goes straight up. All right, now this is the main reason that this car is going to sell better than the Model 3 is the cargo capacity of the Y. Now this is 68 cubic feet, which is 4 times as much as the Model 3. So it's huge. I mean, it's a hatchback. It's not a normal sedan, and there's no sort of like cover you put over the back because this window is pretty pretty heavily tinted, but this is pretty huge. And then look at this space down here. I mean, you could fit like a cooler full of beer down there. I mean, yeah, like just like the front, you could put like your whole arm in it. Now here's where the charging cables are. Here, let's just take a quick look, because there's the 110 and the 220. Like, this is like an adapter that you can use to hook to a normal 110 volt, which would probably take a lot longer. But if you're in need of charge, what are you going to do? Now here's the typical Tesla charger right there that comes with every car. So yeah, nice little Tesla bag there.
It's a fairly low load height too. You know, if you have
Yeah.
something heavy, you don't have to lift it up.
Right, that's true. Now you can't forget your growler in the back too. So
right.
that comes with every Tesla. No, just kidding. But yeah, you can put the seats down over here. So yeah, this is the selling feature of the Y, and yeah, it's pretty big. I'd say this is, I'd say it's like bigger than a Grand Cherokee. I mean, I think you had a Grand Cherokee. It's
Yeah.
similar. It's definitely deeper.
Yeah, I was gonna say the deepness.
That is far. Like, if I'm standing with my knees on the back bumper, I gotta lean to touch the seats. And I think next year they're gonna offer seats back here to have seven seats, and I think they face backwards because of the sloping roof coming back. I don't think you can face them that way. That'd be a little tight. But yeah, let's say you got 3 kids and two of them want to be in the second row and one wants to be in the back. I mean, it's even more versatility for a car that it doesn't look, it doesn't look like a 7-seater SUV like an Explorer over there, like a Palisade down the road. So yeah, that's the selling feature of the 3. All right, one last thing before we get this thing on the road. We got to look at the front trunk, because not many cars have that. So you hit the button on the screen, you walk around, pop it right up. You could fit another cooler's worth of beer in there. Maybe put some Grist House beer in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got windshield washer fluid over there. There's no other fluids to use. That's one thing that I would be interested about Tesla, like, is how the maintenance works. I mean, you obviously need brakes and tires, and I don't think after 10 years or something you have to think about getting the batteries replaced. But I mean, that's just peace of mind. If you have the superchargers, you're good to go. And you don't.
Very low maintenance.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about oil changes. You don't have to worry about other things that come with typical internal combustion cars. So, I mean, I have the key in there. You can hear the air conditioning system working. So yeah, this Tesla, they're pretty much on a level of their own. So let's wrap this up and get this thing out on the road. All right, so to wrap up the Tesla Model Y. Now, I am a firm believer that this is going to be the best-selling car, maybe the best car that Tesla makes. The starting price of like $52,000, which is way less than the Model X, which started like $85,000. I mean, $85,000 is, let's just say, sort of out of reach for most people. I mean, certainly for me. Now this car was about $55,000, which is not cheap, but it's not going to break the bank if you're someone who's into the technology and all the features that this car has. And again, I'm really impressed with all the features and build quality. It's essentially the same car as a Model 3, but bigger, and Elon knows what the people want, so that's why this car is going to be a huge success. So leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think about the Tesla Model Y. I mean, I'm impressed. So don't forget to follow me on Instagram. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the little notification bell. So let's get this thing on the road. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. See ya.